Okay, so this looks like a pretty easy problem, but many of you are going to get this wrong, and you'll probably be a little bit shocked, but don't panic. I'm going to fully explain why you're probably going to get this wrong and how to avoid this particular mistake. Now, a lot of you are going to get this right as well. Let me go ahead and tell you the problem. We have 10 divided by 10 cubed. What is the answer? And we don't want to use our calculators. Put that away. You can definitely use the calculator in between your ears. That's supercomputer. That's definitely not AI. Not, everyone's talking about artificial intelligence. That's actual intelligence. That's much, much better than AI. But I'm pretty confident that a lot of you will get this correct. Okay. But some of you are going to make this particular error. It's a very common misunderstanding when it comes to basic mathematics. Anyways, I'm going to explain this in just 1 second. I'll show you the answer and then I'll fully walk through this problem so you do not ever make this mistake again. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the answer right now. So 10 divided by 10 cubed. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be one of these answers, okay? So which one did you pick? Well, did you pick this answer? Well, that is the wrong answer. Unfortunately, I have to give you a little sad face for this, but this is the correct answer. 1 over 100. So if you got this right, let's go ahead and give you a nice little happy face, an A plus, a 100%, and multiple stars. So you can brag to your friends and family that you are a certified professional expert in the order of operations. All right, so here is the problem. It's 10 divided by 10 cubed. So really the key to doing this problem is we need to figure out what we have to do first. Do we take 10 and divide it by 10, get that answer, and then cube it? Okay. Now, of course, if you did it that way, you did it the incorrect way. But why? Okay. Well, I'll explain this in just 1 second. So that's one way you could have done the problem. Or you could have said, all right, let me see here. Before I do the division, I'll take 10 and then cube it, get that answer, and then take 10 and divide it by the result of this. So that's the correct approach, but why? Well, it's because this lovely saying right here, PEMDAS. All right, so if you never heard this before, this is probably one of the most widely known phrases in basic mathematics. And there's a cute little phrase that goes along with it. It's a little mnemonic memory aid. It says, or goes like this: please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now, I don't know what Aunt Sally did, but she's been very helpful to all of us studying mathematics for many, many years. Again, this phrase has been around for decades, right? Probably your great grandparents were saying it back in the 1950s. Let's quickly review it real fast. This is not the most challenging problem when it comes to this phrase, but the topic here is the order of operations. Okay, so in mathematics, when we have two numbers, if I give you a number like 10 and 2, like what can we do with numbers? Well, you can add them, you can subtract them, multiply them, divide them, you could take powers, etc. So these are mathematical operations, okay? And the correct order to do these particular mathematical operations is this little phrase right here, PEMDAS, right? So if we just follow this little checklist, we'll get this right every single time. So the P stands for parentheses. So if you see any parentheses, or technically it's what we call a grouping symbol, so like brackets like this or squiggly brackets, we're going to go to that first, okay? Now there's more on this, and I'll leave that for other math videos on my channel or in my math courses, but you really want to practice much more challenging order of operation problems. So you're going to look for any parentheses. In this particular problem, we have no parentheses, so we can kind of move on, all right? So we're working this checklist from left to right. So the E stands for exponents. So if you have something like 2 to the 4th power, this little number up here is called the exponent, but really the E stands for power. So if you see anything like 2 to the 4th or 10 to cubed, we're going to do that next. Okay, so that probably explains, how we're going to do this problem correctly. The next is multiplication, division. So you're going to do multiplication or division, whatever you see first from left to right. So this is another very common place where students misunderstand. So you're going to do multiplication or division if you see it from left to right in this order, or division and then multiplication because we see division first from left to right. And then A and S stands for addition and subtraction, and it works the same way as this. Okay, so that's just a quick review of the order of operations. So let's go ahead and think about PEMDAS as we go through this problem. All right, so the first thing is, do we have any parentheses? No. Do we have any powers? Yes. So that's what we're going to be doing. We have to figure out what 10 cubed is equal to. All right, so that is the first step. So let's just make sure you understand what 10 cubed is. We'll start off with something like 2 squared. 2 squared means what? Take 2 and multiply it by itself 2 times, right? 2 cubed means take 2 and multiply it by itself 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2, that's 2 cubed. 2 squared, so 10 cubed means take 10 and multiply it by itself 10 times, okay? So that's what that is. Now, you could figure this out. 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000. So you can kind of do this in kind of different steps, in a different, there's basically some freedom to be a little bit creative when you're doing a math problem. As long as you're showing your steps, you're telling a story where your teacher understands, oh, okay, I understand exactly what you're doing, so you get to the right solution. That's what you want to do. But there's another way we can think about this problem at this point, and I'll show you that in just 1 second. But let's just go ahead and reiterate what 10 cubed stands for, right? That's 10 times 10 times 10. Now, sometimes when you have to do this multiplication, you don't necessarily want to just, get the number. Like, you don't want to just stop and be like, all right, 10 times 10 times 10, and you just figure this whole thing out. Of course, this is 1,000 because 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000. But sometimes you want to hold off. And there's another way we could think about this entire problem in a different way, okay? So let me show you that right now. So we could think about this problem this way. 10 divided by 10 cubed is equal to this version of the problem, 10 divided by, this is a fraction bar, 10 cubed, all right? And this really makes it kind of clear to what we need to do first, right? We're not going to make this mistake and take 10 divided by 10 and then cube the answer, because here we're seeing it as a fraction. So we're going to have to figure out what the denominator is, and then we'll simplify it. We'll kind of put it together with the numerator. So my suggestion is when you see division problems, something like this, always kind of think in terms of a fraction. So 10 over 10 cubed, that's, I think, the best approach to do this problem. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. But before we do, I want to ask you, if you have not yet subscribed, it really helps me tremendously. I've been on YouTube for many, many years. I just love to teach math. Every day I'm putting out math videos. So you subscribing and hitting that notification button goes a long way for me. So if you don't mind, if it's not that much trouble, please subscribe and hit that notification button. Back to the problem. Okay, so here we go. All right, so here we have 10 over 10 cubed, and now we know that 10 cubed is equal to 10 times 10 times 10. Now again, you can write that as 1,000, but don't be so hasty. We just kind of want to leave this fraction like this, 10 over 10 times 10 times 10. Now, there's a good reason for that. Now, why do you think that is? Well, because we have a fraction, and anytime you have a fraction, you're going to be thinking with your final answer, I need to simplify it. So if I have 100 over 200, you're not going to turn that in, in math. We don't like to have our answers, our final answers, not simplified. So you would want to reduce this answer down to 1/2, okay? So you're thinking, you're like, okay, all right, this YouTube math guy, he's telling me, you need to reduce or simplify all fractions. Yes, indeed, it's not optional, okay? If you give this to most math teachers, they're going to take points off. So you have to simplify. And before you do all this multiplication, you need to be thinking about, all right, the next step. I can simplify by cross-canceling like factors, all right? Now, I'll show you, how we get to the final answer right here, and then I'll give you a couple basic answers, a few more examples, so you understand my point. Okay, so here I have a factor, all right? So if I have 10, 2 times 5, 2 and 5 are factors of 10, all right? So let's just make sure we understand the terms I'm saying. 2 and 5 are factors of 10. So in mathematics, if you have a factor, if you have a number, and if you have like factors between the numerator and denominator, you could cross-cancel 1 for 1. So this 10 can take away this 10. I can cross-cancel these, and I'm left with 10 times 10, which of course is 100. Now, some of you might be saying, well, hey, there's nothing up here. There's no number, isn't this a zero? Well, no, there's always one. Okay, one is always a factor no matter what. So we can think of this as 10 times 1 over 10 times 10 times 10, right? That's 10 cubed. So I can cross cancel this 10 to this 10, and now I have 1 in the numerator, and 10 times 10 is 100. All right. So that's how you want to be thinking about. You're kind of like, being strategic about simplifying your fractions. You don't want to do all the multiplication. It wouldn't be so bad. You would have ended up with 10 over 1,000, and then you need to reduce again. So let's just take a look at one other quick example. So if you have, let's say, 40 over 50, real basic example here, right? So most people are like, oh, we just can't cross cancel the zeros. Yes, indeed. But really what's going on is 40 is what? 4 times 10, and 50 is 5 times 10. Now, these are factors. 4 and 10 are factors of 40. 5 and 10 are factors of 50. So we're looking for like factors to cross cancel, and whatever is left is the simplified fraction. Okay, so don't despair if you made this little mistake. It's no big deal. It's perfectly fine to make mistakes in mathematics. Okay, do not ever feel bad about making an error. When I do my little happy faces and sad faces, I'm kind of joking around when I'm certainly not ever trying to make anyone feel bad. You got to be, what's the word I'm trying to say? Easygoing about studying anything, to include math. The key is to build up your skills one step at a time. Now, this is where a lot of students get frustrated, okay, because they're trying to complete a journey. Let me kind of just show you my little metaphor. It's like steps. Like, okay, if you're trying to climb a bunch of steps way up here, you're trying to get to this level, which is mastery. Here is where you're starting, okay? Now, if you're trying to leap all the way up here, you're like, you know what? I don't have the time. I don't want to do all these practice problems or listen to this guy on YouTube. I don't have the time for that. I just need to get up here real quick and, have strong math skills. It's not going to work that way, okay? What you're going to do, you're going to jump and you're going to fall down. You're going to jump and fall down. And you're going to just be, having a difficult time. It's going to be frustrating. But if you change your attitude to be like, all right, here's where I need to go. I'm just going to focus on taking one step at a time. All right, I'm going to focus on getting to this level. All right, I'm going to focus on this level. And now what you're building is a strong foundation underneath you as well. Okay, so if you're trying to take big leaps because you just don't have the time, well, unfortunately, it's not going to work that way, right? So again, you can get to anywhere you want to go in mathematics if you just, get one, great instruction, clear instruction. That's what I try to provide. But two, if you practice the skills and just build yourself up one step at a time. Okay, so with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.